All right, let's talk about the episode of Masters of Horror where the chick loves to screw dead people.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
That is an accurate description of this episode. So this episode, or movie basically, reminded me very heavily when I was watching it of the song Code Blue by TSOL, which I wish they would have played in this movie. I Want to Fuck the Dead would have been a really, really great lyrics to have over this. So yeah, this is a wild episode, as is the next one, which we'll obviously be talking about right after this. So this is like a really perverted Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, very perverted. Mm-hmm.
And you have this young guy who is trying to prove that, and they specifically name drop Frankenstein in here. Dr. Frankenstein from Germany. So Frankenstein exists in this world, and he's saying, I can reanimate people. And when he's trying to reanimate somebody, he does open up her eyes. Now that could be like an electrical response to being shocked, or she was alive for a second, but he is pumping a bunch of really bright green liquid into her.
Yes.
Very Reanimator style.
Reanimator, for sure.
So you get Frankenstein and Reanimator nods in here.
Yes.
And he just kind of becomes obsessed with this, and then he is made to be kind of a joke in the science community because he gets his chance to prove himself. And I guess he shouldn't have covered that girl's body in
flammable
oil.
wax or
it's
something.
Like the stuff that the guy's wearing in Saw when he has to look for the combination of the flammable gel or whatever the hell.
All over him, and he's just got a little candle that's burning down and down.
Because you can tell in it that when the body goes to light up, it has that flammable gel on it.
Yeah.
You can see it for half a second.
Yes.
And it just immediately reminded me of the original Saw. So maybe you shouldn't have coated her body in that.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
But she went up like a tinderbox so fast.
And she got so crispy,
Oh my god, she was on fire for 5 seconds, and she was and he picked her up like she was weightless.
Literally, he was carrying her under his arm,
Yeah.
so easy.
I don't even think a skeleton's that light.
How light is a skeleton typically? What's the weight of an average fully grown adult woman?
Skeleton?
Yeah.
Wow, man. I don't know. That's a good
either.
question. But it still has some skin on it and whatnot.
Yeah, it did. So I don't know why
I would say she probably weighed, in that she looked like she weighed maybe 40 pounds.
But the way he was carrying her was she weighed 5.
He was throwing her around in Ernest Scared Stupid. $5 a pound, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe works out with that guy. But yeah, he then hears about this necromancer that can bring people back from the dead. And they kept saying his name throughout this episode. And every time I heard it, I kept thinking it sounded like they were saying something else. I knew they weren't.
Yeah.
But I was like, what was his name again?
I know, I'm trying to remember.
We watched this last night.
I know. I'm bad with names, though.
And I'm really annoyed now.
Yeah.
You don't have your phone on you to check, of course.
I have it over there.
You should grab it because I want to know.
All right.
But yeah, this guy, he brings things back from the dead, but they say within it that there is 1 year taken from your life every time you resurrect somebody. And I guess when you do it on dogs don't take any of your energy away from you. And so you get to live endlessly, and you can bring back dogs indefinitely, very Pet Cemetery style. And this poor dog that he brings back over and over again.
Mosquito.
Oh, mosquito is what I
kept calling
think.
him
Montesquito.
Montesquino.
Yeah.
Montesquino.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. They just kept saying, he's like, Mr. Montesquino. And I was like, mosquito?
I know. Yeah.
That's right. But man, if you guys haven't seen The Fly 2, the Jeff Goldblum, David Cronenberg sequel with Eric Stoltz, this rivals. This is close in comparison. That one's a little bit worse when it comes to how sad the dog death and lack of death, because the dog in The Fly 2 is just so sad and pathetic, and it's whimpering and you just can't handle it. And the same thing is true with this dog, except for this dog cannot die.
It's awful.
But it seems to be able to feel pain plenty.
My God, it's the worst. I was like so upset by the dog in this and how much it was enduring and just kept coming back to life, and it was so disfigured and deformed.
Yeah.
And just in so much pain. I can't even imagine. And of course, anytime it's with an animal, it's like it's helpless and can't fight back against humans that much, so it just is even worse.
Yeah, it's really, really rough to watch. And now the whole 1 year off his life thing. This is, I don't know. The logic in this episode definitely is in question here. So he can only bring back beings to live during the night. This is contradicted by the fact that he brings back the dog during the day. Now, maybe dogs don't count, right? Because they don't have souls. So that could be an explanation for that. But how is the baby towards the end still alive?
Yes.
Now, is that not a baby that was brought back by him? Or was it a baby that she got impregnated with and gave birth to, and it's half living, half dead? So I guess that would answer that question potentially.
That's what I think it is.
Right?
I think it's
And
that.
What's up with how many corpses there are in the graveyard that Mr. Mosquito himself brought back from the dead, because she has a freaking Congo line.
Just got an orgy going, pretty much.
Of dead bodies that are just waiting to get in on the action.
Yes.
And
there's so many of them. And there's women, there's men.
How much do you think that this dude was paying Mosquito?
It doesn't make sense to me, because he lives in a traveling little wagon.
Yeah.
And he looks super poor, and he's asking this when he's at his show. A couple comes up to him and is like, our daughter passed away a year ago. Could you please bring her back? And he's like, do you have $100? And they're like, no. And he's like, can you get $100?
Yeah.
And they're like, we just wanted you to be a good Christian and bring her back.
He's like, yeah, good joke.
Yeah, and he's like,
what a story, Mark.
What a story, Mark. So it doesn't make sense that he would have a lot of money unless he's blowing all of it super fast and it's on strictly alcohol, which is possible.
Yeah, I don't understand. Can he bring back 20 people at a time for 1 year?
Right.
Is there a group discount rate? Or if you do 20 at once, it's only 3 years?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because he brings back a lot. And then at the end, when she has now taken over and she's, screwing all these dead people, she's resurrecting people, right? Because she's now the necromancer that this guy comes to, begging for. The big twist is that the woman that's telling the story is the horny necrophiliac. Is this 5 years later and she's so horny she brought 40 dudes back from the dead, which aged her 40 years?
Yes, right.
I'm still not understanding, because this still looks like, it's the 1800s.
Yes, yeah.
So it's and she looks 50 years older.
I mean, it's possible that the baby wouldn't actually age if it's a living dead baby. And so that could, still look the same. So maybe it is in the future, some number of years. But she's definitely, I'm sure, brought back more people and lost years off of her life.
Yeah.
There's no way she hasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mosquito.
Yeah.
Montesquito.
Mm-hmm.
Skino?
Monskino?
Montesquino?
Montesquino?
He died,
Yes.
right? She brought him back.
Yeah, she brought him back.
She brought her husband back.
She brought her husband.
And she brought the
doctor.
The doctor guy back. So we know that at least 3 years is lost, or a group discount rate.
Or the group discount
of like a year and a half. Yeah. Just like resurrect 2, get 2 free.
What is this, a Groupon that she
Yeah.
has? She's like, hey, I'm going to use this one now and I'll...
No, but there was a group on her.
There was a group on her.
Of dead bodies.
This, like, episode, I was telling you, I have never seen a more, like, graphic depiction of, like, a zombie fetish.
Yeah.
It was really weird because, like, I know that the iZombie has probably, like, I haven't watched any of it, but I'm sure that there's some, like, romance stuff going on in there.
Yeah, but they don't look like zombies.
But they don't look like zombies, exactly.
At all.
And then, like, of course, like,
that would
zombies,
be like
the Disney, yeah.
Right.
It would
vampires
be like vampires.
are undead. Right?
But the actual, like, corpses, like, rotting flesh, like, what is she even having sex with? That's another question I have. Because after, like, I don't understand how they even can do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
when they might not have the flesh there because it's rotted off.
I think when the body dies, wherever they're resurrected from, that's how they stay. I don't think they rot anymore.
So she's got to be, like, checking them then. Before
she's going
she
down
brings
looking
them back.
and be like, is there enough dick for me to take here?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that there's that much thought put into it, but that would make sense. But you don't have to have much, because there is a literal skeleton hanging from a fence that is alive.
Yes.
So you don't have to have skin. You don't have to have organs. You don't have to have a brain. You literally can just have your bone marrow left.
It's crazy.
Inside your bones, and that seems to be enough to get you to come back from the dead. But
it sounds awful.
I will say, for any of you perverts out there who would be into this thing, but I am way too highbrow for that. The nudity in this is A+. Just throwing that out there, but I only care. I don't care at all. Right, babe?
No, yeah, right. He doesn't care at all.
Just saying.
It's a very graphic depiction of zombie sex, for sure.
And a very attractive female naked body.
Yeah.
Doing all of it.
With a lot of rotting corpses.
With the rotting corpses. So there's contrast.
Yes.
There's a gorgeous naked body with a corpse that's flesh is rotting off of it as it screws her.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want it to make it seem like there's, like, penetration shown.
No.
But it's like softcore pornography mixed with, like, Lucio Fulci's Zombie too. Mm-hmm. Like, these are pretty rotting corpses. They kind of remind me, if I had to, like, compare them to rotting zombies, they kind of look like the zombies in Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Part 2 especially. Mm-hmm. Where there's just, yeah, man, they're in a very, very strong state of decomposition where they've been dead for weeks and their skin is falling off and rotting, and it's there's nothing attractive about these guys at all.
No.
This isn't Twilight vampires where they're, still good looking but dead. This is like, I don't know. So her fetish is just that she likes to get screwed by dead people. She doesn't seem to care who it is, because Montesquino is not even remotely attractive. Her husband is very old, right? She just wants dead people.
I know. I think that is the case, but, like, she specifically is with her old husband. Like, not the current one that is older than her, but another, like, husband that she had. That's the one that she's sleeping with, and then all the other people are kind of there watching, and then they sort of start to, like, touch her and, like, rub on her and stuff. But up until the very end, when she, like, moves on to the doctor, we don't actually see her with any other zombie other than her old husband. And
she does.
Doctor,
yeah,
right?
She screws the doctor for sure. She's on top of him. She likes to be in control as well. So all the sex scenes are her on top.
Yeah.
So it's about control for sure. Mm-hmm. Now, why would she have the other people resurrected unless she wanted the orgy?
I don't know.
Right? She's only bringing her husband back from the dead if she only wants her husband.
Right.
Montesquino would have to bring
all the rest.
more of them back, and they'd have to pay a lot more because he's giving more years of his life. They definitely do not address the aging thing very well, and the fact that they bring back so many corpses in the graveyard. Like, there's no way, this is what makes no sense. There's no way that she or Montesquino or anybody agreed to bring the literal skeleton back to life.
Yeah,
what would that do for her? So did he do some curse that just kind of like, you know, if you do a spell in this general area, it costs you 1 year of life, but you have to, that's what I'm saying, you got to pile all the bodies together and be like, why would he be like, oh, give me $100 for one kid? It would be like, everyone gather up your kids, $100 a piece, and I don't do it unless I get at least 20 bodies.
Yeah.
We're putting way too much thought into a necrophilia movie that was directed by the guy who directed Wild Things and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is a great film, and it was based on a story by Clive Barker, a short story by Clive Barker, which is not super shocking because he loves really kinky stuff with dead people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense when you look at who did it. That zombie baby has one hell of a bite.
Oh my god.
Rip that guy's throat right out of his body. But I've never been around zombie babies, so I'm not really familiar with what they are capable of. And did we see the baby in the when she was an older woman?
Oh yeah. They brought the baby out, and she was like, "Y'all have to wait until the baby's fed."
Oh, that's right.
And she's like, and then then
baby,
we'll play.
So yeah, it's been a very short amount of time, and she's just, gotten older from doing it too many times, or the baby never ages,
right.
Or both. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you seen this episode? I'm sure you just clicked on this because it was about a woman screwing dead bodies. You sick perverts. But yeah, I think that's about it. It's just the sadness in that dog. It was very interesting to see a depiction of a time when it was the general consensus by the scientific community of doctors that God was the contributing factor to life, and that anyone who thought differently was a heretic, a charlatan, or what does he call in the episode? He calls him a heathen.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. And I was laughing. I was just like, wow, this is a freaking stark contrast to the scientific community of today. There of course is still religious people in the scientific community, but their numbers are very few.
Yeah.
And the scientific community is almost all comprised of people who do not believe in anything but science itself. It's become their religion. But in this, it is a complete 180 flip around of like, what do you mean? Like, we just kind of investigate the body, but God is responsible for everything. Could you imagine if you went to a surgeon or like a doctor today and he's like, well, I mean, I can do whatever I want, but it's really just God that's going to save you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
Could you try a little harder maybe?
Like maybe God can use a helping hand or so.
Yeah. It was weird to see, but I'm sure that is how it was. But anyway, yeah. I don't think that guy wanted his wife raised from the dead after this story.
No, I don't think so. I think he was like, I'll pass. I love her, but
He's
not
like,
that much.
I don't want to screw her dead body.
Not if she's gonna look like that.
Tits like are falling off while you're doing it. Yeah. Not my thing.
No.
I'll take the living girl in this.